Okay. So, bit of a bit of a kind of doing everything today day. Um oh god. Been been building out the studio a little bit better because um got to make got to make room in here. Got to organize the space a bit better for a bunch of new stuff. So, uh spent most of the day doing that kind of thing. Here you can kind of see maybe. Yeah, that's a whole new bench that's going in. I have this big slate top that's going to go on top of it. I'm going to be putting my printers on there. Um, but it's too heavy for me and my wife to carry, so I gotta wait till my friend shows up at some point this weekend to help me move that. But um, yeah, I'm trying to clear up this whole background area. I want this to actually start looking like a proper filming spot. I don't want to have a printer in the background. Um, I'm just going to kind of keep it designs and instruments, and I don't know, we'll see. Paint it, do something with the ceiling. But um, I did start printing, so I chose some colors here. Um, I just think like this is such a crazy looking thing, like this. I've just really been thinking about the thumbnail. So something like that, and then me singing into that might be a cool thumbnail. It just looks so wacky, which I love. And so I started printing some parts. This is the vocal cone. It looks so nice. Printed absolutely beautifully. This was printed on the Core 1 with Prusament filament. I did print some other parts on my other printers because I just don't have time. But printed a new body, and again, this looks absolutely incredible. This Prusament filament is so nice. This has a bit of a sparkle to it, and it feels damn sturdy. Big fan of that, and printed basically perfectly level. And then I also printed this guy. This guy, just white, nothing special. But that's gonna mount there. That looks perfect. Right, this mounts really nice. So I was gonna start by just printing some other stuff today, or getting some other stuff started printing, and then I thought we could maybe work a bit on the. Hey Ruby, how's it going? Yeah, so I was just gonna get some stuff printed today, some more stuff for this, and then get on to, or get back to the pedal, I think. I wonder how much of this I could test though right now, because no, I can't. I gotta print the horn. I gotta print the horn. The horn is a long print, so maybe if I start that now. I'm thinking about doing it in orange because that'll just look so cool. The orange and the green. You know what? I'll probably reprint the base plates first. I'm trying to decide. The Prusa did a really good job with this. Maybe I'll do. How is this horn gonna print even? print it with that part flat? Oh my god, let's take it out of render here. I think I can print it with this part flat. That might be the best. I have black loaded into the Prusa right now, but I'd like to be here while the horn gets started. So let's do that. We're going to put some orange in. I'll put the black in the. Maybe I'll put the black in the H2D and then have that printing in the background here. Okay, so horn. I think it's important that I print the horn on the Prusa because that's kind of the craziest part. And then I'll get to actually show that in the video. So I'm wondering, am I going to be able to print? Is that not technically sitting flat? I don't think it is. So I don't know if that's worth doing. Actually, I do think it is worth doing because every other orientation is going to have so much support. Definitely needs support. Build plate only. How's your Friday going? It's Friday, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's Friday. Oh my god, that's insane. But if I do that, then this whole side will look better. Yeah, half a kilogram. So I pretty much gotta nail it on the first go here. $22, so this won't be done until tomorrow, which sucks because I'm not going to be here tomorrow, so I won't be able to monitor it, which does make me want to print this on a printer that I can actually monitor while I'm gone. That's kind of my dilemma right now, especially because, like, I think once we get into these top parts, that's where things are going to get a little dicey. If I was using my H2D, I could use a different support material, save a lot of the orange. But this is technically Prusa. Yeah, I just went through and kind of like made things look a little better. I feel like this will work. I don't really know. Like what happens here? Yeah. 22 hours. So if I start this now, it'll be done tomorrow. Oh, actually, I'm not leaving till 3. Okay, so it will be done tomorrow. Just past noon. Okay, let's do it. Give me a second. I just got to change my filament over. One moment. Okay, and then I'll get the black loaded in here. Can I do this in the AMS? Never actually tried this. It's so weird how well that works. Give me 1 second. Something's going wrong. Oh, sorry about this. I'm just struggling with loading this filament, which is crazy. See, like here's the thing, and like I'm saying this in confidence that basically nobody's gonna watch this because I really like Prusa as a company, and their printer looks great, but it's like putting feeding the filament shouldn't be hard, and it has issues like a lot of the times. Well, like maybe I'm doing something wrong, maybe it's user error, but with with the Bamboo one, I literally just pop it in and stick it in a hole, and it does everything for me. It's just kind of like a totally different experience. But anyways, I'm not a very good authority on what makes a 3D printer good or not. But okay, okay, okay. Now it's working. Give me one sec. Okay, I just want to check something out. Yeah, right. Like it should be one of the easiest things, and honestly, like with having like an AMS unit, you don't even really have to change filaments at all because you just have all your filaments loaded, and then you can just pick which ones you're going to use. Oh, I got a bad splinter there. So I need to look something up because Prusa did send me a couple new build plates because I destroyed my original one. And now I don't know which one's going to be better for this, and I want to make sure. I got a satin and a textured build plate for my Prusa Core 1. Which of these plates will guarantee the best print with minimal warping or bed adhesion issues using Prusament PLA? Just want to see because I really don't want this print to fail. I need it to kind of succeed right off the bat. I should absolutely use a satin sheet. While both smooth PEI sheet is technically their top recommendation for PLA, the satin sheet is an excellent all-arounder. They'll give you a fantastic Warp 3 print with PLA. Flat enough surface area for PLA to grip. Okay, I'm going to put the satin sheet on. I just need like I want a really like super efficient print setup. I don't want to have to deal with a bunch of stuff. Um, okay, so I've got my satin sheet on. This is what I'm thinking. I do want fairly thick walls on this. We've got 4 perimeters. I think that's good. Maybe I'm gonna do a different infill because I've been, for some reason, I've been hearing that grid is the worst possible. So we'll do honeycomb. That looks pretty nice too. Basically the exact same amount of filament. That all looks good. So let's do it. Let's get this guy print 10. Oh. Yeah, 21 hours. Okay. And now I'm going to print the base on my H2D. Sync info. Oh yeah, I added a new. Oh, I gotta just put that in actually. So A2 is what I want. Okay, and then yeah, generic PLA. It is Prusament PLA, but so we'll print these new guys. So base plate. And then call them this mini base plate. I really like like this is such an unnecessary thing to make a second base plate for this, but it's so fun for the design. Oh, Prusa Slicer encountered an error. What error? Mini base plate and base plate. No. Auto. Arrange. Okay, I think oh, that's fine, I guess. Let's space them out a little bit better. Let's do a brim. Outer brim only. I like a fatter brim just in case. 108 grams. How much craziness am I putting in this? It's only 2 walls, right? Yeah, it's fine. Oh, custom mode. Oh, no. Actually, I don't need to do custom mode. We'll go filament saving mode, but then I go objects and I change the material here. 3? Yeah. 3. Slice. Sliche. Right nozzle. Correct. So cool. Yeah, no, I do like. I really like Prusa though. I like what they do. I like that they're European and stuff, and they're going to be supposedly manufacturing in the States pretty soon. And I think their machines look really nice. But it is a very different experience for me, at least, and I'm kind of dumb when it comes to actually printing things. Okay, I think I'm going to call it as far as printing things. I'm not going to print anything on the other printer. What's the issue? What is the error? Is it just an internet error? It might just be an internet error because it's kind of far away. Okay. Otherwise, I'm pretty happy with this. I really hope this works. That would be so nice if this just works and then I can be done with this project. I really want this to sound super good because I think it'll be so cool. If it doesn't, it'll be kind of a bummer. Bamboo sent a promotional email about an A2L. They haven't announced anything, but it sounds like it's going to be a big printer. Yeah, I saw that. I'm not sure what it looks like. It's a bed slinger. So it looks like it's going to be similar to the rest of their A series. So it's an interesting idea to do a larger bed slinger because bed slingers are kind of like not the greatest when you make the bed bigger. That's why the Core XY machines seem to have taken off so much. So I'd be curious to see if it's going to be actually bigger than like the H series printers. But also I think it looks like just based on the promo, I heard people talking about the idea that they might have like a plotter and a cutter. So like all the things you can do with a Cricut also as an option. So we'll see. We'll see. That would be interesting. I've never had an A series printer from them before, but people seem to really like them. I don't really know. Yeah, I'm getting a little distracted here because I just found this tool that I was looking for today. I'm gonna have a pretty cool printer set up, I think, after this weekend. I've had all my printers sort of just in random spots in my studio, just wherever I could fit them. But now I'm gonna have a spot where I can basically have them all sort of together, which I think will be a huge plus. And will make my life a little bit easier. I do gotta say though, this Prusa Mint filament is so nice looking, and it does print extremely well. Do you have the multicolor thing? Like, do you have the little spool holder? Oh, I guess I can print this I'll print this thing. Print this on the back valve. I don't know why I'm calling them a valve. It's not really a valve, but nice. Nice, yeah, that's convenient. Hey, I like to do. I did this on the Prusa, this color change, but I literally just did a pause and then changed the filament, and it turned out pretty good. But I had to be here to do that. So I really like having AMS units and stuff. Okay, I'm gonna load some of this. What do you think? Is this army green cool, or should I do? I was also thinking about making this yellow for this like valve part. I don't really know why I went with these colors. I thought they looked kind of retro-y. Like this green with the orange looks good. It just came broken, but with the power of the 3D printing, I was able to make replacement. Nice. Nice. Yeah, what do you think about this little piece? I mean, I'm probably gonna have to reprint this a few times, so it doesn't really matter. I have this green loaded up on the P1S right now, so we could see what it looks like with that green. Actually, that looks pretty good. Let's just do that. I'm gonna go with that for now, just so I don't have to change anything. Oh, keeps okay. I have to manually press start on my Prusa. Give me 1 second. Yeah, this green filament, you can't even see layer lines on it. It's nuts. Same color as the disc. Oh yeah, that's a good point too. The white, or this disc. Yeah, the yellow's kind of cool. I'm just gonna print it. I'm gonna need to print multiple of these, so I'm just gonna print this one out of green because I literally have that loaded right now. And my P1S doesn't have an AMS unit, so I have to print that, or I have to change that manually, which I don't want to do because I'm lazy. I'm a lazy boy, and it's just annoying probably. P1As, sync, continue. Overwriting. I don't really understand how the sync situation works on these printers, but I don't need plate 2. Back valve. Now, that's what I thought. That's how I thought you were going to print it. Sure. It's only 20 grams. Sure. Why not? Oh, do I have? Yeah. I've been starting to like almost put supports on things even that don't really need supports because it seems to help with bed adhesion a little bit. And even like I think it's just like the more materials on the bed, the better, the less chance of it warping somehow. I don't know if that's scientific at all. But that's what it feels like. Just cleaning these prints up a little bit. It's hard to use this on a curved surface sometimes. It's working okay, I guess. I should probably change the blade on this. Nice. Yeah, so these two parts, mic stand. Yeah, and I've heard that like, because like you can do a brim or whatever, and actually the default brim doesn't connect to your part. The default brim has a little bit of a space, so it's sort of like what's the brim even doing if it's not touching your part? But apparently all it does is it kind of works as like a little blanket around the edge of your part, so it helps keep the bed warm in those specific areas. That's what I heard, anyways. And it seems like that might be the case because by adding extra supports and stuff, I am seeming to have more success. Nice. These parts look awesome. These parts look awesome. I really want to have my live stream set up so that, you know, right now I'm sitting in front of my laptop and it sucks to do like actual handiwork here because I get stuff everywhere. So it would be nice for the live stream for it to be further away. Maybe have a camera set up top down or something, and then I can have multiple different desks depending on what I'm doing. I really want to get more efficient at making content and doing these streams and stuff because I'm so disorganized. Okay. So I think we're good on this. I've got 3 prints going right now. So yeah, I think that's kind of going to be... I might do the army green for this, actually. It depends on how much orange I have left. But I might end up doing the army green for this. You know how retro stuff always uses sort of the grossest colors? For whatever reason, but I love the way it looks. So that's kind of what this is going to be like, I think. This blue is actually kind of wrong. Should be a little bit. Maybe a little more like iridescent. Yeah. Yeah, there's something funny about retro colors. Anyways. So, right? It's like no one would ever use these colors today, but that's almost what makes it nice. Okay, so we will save this. We're just about done printing this. Once this is printed, These two are printing now. This thing's printing. I just need to print the face. And then we'll be done. And we'll see if this works. God, I hope this works. If this works, that would be so cool. Okay. So now I'm going to open up. And I'm just going to do a quick little check on these printers now that they've all started here, just to make sure nothing stupid is happening. Oh, I'll open up my thing first. Actually, I'm going to do it from the... Oh, no, I remember. What did I call it? Keymech kick pedal. Removing link 6. We're going to play in Motion Gen a lot today. But I'll be right back. Everything's looking good. Okay, so... God, I haven't even thought about this in the last couple days. I was doing some crazy stuff on this. But it made me think that I could reconsider everything a little bit. So this just breaks right now. It's not even functioning. But I've been looking at Motion Gen. Okay, I actually closed my Motion Gen thing, but that's okay because I'm going to try to explain sort of my thinking on this and see if that gets us anywhere. So we can start with a circle because this will represent our main circle. Oops. Okay. Hello, wife. I love you, wife. Okay. So that circle's not perfectly centered. Why isn't it centered? Okay. That'll work. So this kind of represents our... This kind of represents our main cam. And then... I'm going to ground this one. Ground it. And I'm going to put a rotary actuator on this one. Okay, so that rotates. Good. And I'll bring it in a little bit because then we can see the path. So, I got splinters all over my hand today. So, what I've kind of been doing, I think the reason why I've been struggling with this is because I was like drawing linkages. So, let me just kind of do what we had before, which is basically like this, and then like this, and then I guess this was, oops. Oh my God, there's no undo on this. This, and then like this, and then we had this guy coming out connected to a node on this guy. So this was our original sort of 6-bar linkage. And the reason I went with this was because it, you know, I was able to get this little arc here. Oops. And so you could see it gives us that little arc, and I was thinking that's what I'm trying to capture, this arc that swings out. Like that. But here's what I'm actually trying to do. And this doesn't work really that well because it's too gradual. So what needs to happen is I'm going to throw another one on here. So this represents this red guy. And this one, okay, actually I can change the colors here. So we can make this red, and this one's green. So the green one is this one, red one's this one. And so why this has been a struggle is because I don't actually need this to arc out, because this whole circle rotates. And what I'm actually concerned with is the difference between the angles of these two. And basically, when the green bar is at this perfectly sort of horizontal position, this is the exact point that the yellow jack, is lifted up. And so at this point in the swing, the yellow jack is up. I need this guy to be like really close to this guy, because effectively that will mean the pusher is sitting outwards. But then as soon as this lifts up, like even like as soon as this one lifts up like that much, because literally the difference between the jack being up and where the pusher needs to come in, or the pusher needs to get out of the way, is that much difference. So at this point, all of a sudden this needs to be sticking way out like this. So the motion here, that needs to go a tiny bit, and then this needs to come right close. And then once this rotates all the way down here, this ideally will stay right close the whole time. Oh, no, it won't stay right close the whole time. It will stay away. Because when this is away, it's not interacting with the hammer at all. It's only interacting with the hammer when they're right close to each other. So the only time I want that is when the green is here. So I've been kind of playing around with how we can do that. And one of the other ways I sort of figured out how to do that the other day was so we always have a linkage here. So this one matters because this is what actually starts programming things. And then I think what I did was I had another linkage. What I did was I had another linkage here. I don't remember. Okay, what is that? It's making a clicking sound, but it is working, so I'm not too concerned about it. I was playing around with the idea of, I think I put a node here and a node here. I had these connected like this. Okay, so you can see that right now it does the opposite of what we need. So when this goes up, these get close together. We need them to get far away. So that's wrong. That's not what I did. And then I also, because this is such a specific point, I realized that we can sort of change the way, like we need to change the state at this exact point. The direction of these things need to change. And so in order to do that, by having, at this point, we get horizontal. Or no, it was this point. When these three are horizontal with each other, that's when the state changes. Right? I think. Let's just do this for a second. I just want to see what happens. But I think we come inwards instead. Okay, again, it's doing the opposite of what we need it to do, which is fine. We're learning. I'm just going to connect these for a second. Just ignore the red one for now. I just want to try and figure out how to make this bar work. The other thing is I need the travel of this guy to be a specific amount, right? That's got to come all the way down here. And then it's got to come here and go up a little bit. And so now, see how when this juts up, almost juts up, pop, we need it to rotate, and it does it there. So this is on the right track. So now what we want, we need these to get super close here and then shoot away. So let's maybe try this. And then theoretically, if we go like this, oh, oops. We add that there, and we go like that. And then we delete that. So what's happening here? That one shoots up. Okay. So at this point, and then I've started using this, it's easier to track. So at this point, this one juts up. If we go here, we get more action. If we pull this down, that really kills what we can do. So this is already pretty good because you can see that at this point here, we get a huge amount of movement between it's a bit weird because I was thinking about this for so many days, and then I haven't thought about this in the last day, and I'm already like really confused. And I thought I had figured this out. But now that I'm here, I don't know what I'm doing exactly. I think I might be thinking the opposite. I think... No, I am thinking the opposite. When this bar is perfectly horizontal, I need these to be far away from each other. Oops. I need these to be far away from each other. And then at that last little bit, I need these to slam closed. So, I can do it like this, I think. Slams closed. Slams closed. Now, the problem is, so this is good. It slams closed at that last second. And then when it comes down, as soon as this passes horizontal, this needs to stop moving up. The distance between these two has to be the maximum point at this point. But it stops being the maximum because this still moves. So if we go like this, no, wrong. And a lot of this has to come down to how three axles line up. Because when three axles line up, that means there's going to be a change in state. So when this moves, so you can see as soon as this passes the axle, these paths change. So if we pull this here, that's going to continue moving forward. That's doing the opposite of what we needed to do. See, this is pretty close at this point. They stay super far apart. And then once this hits horizontal, that thing starts to come back, and then it connects, and then pushes forward. You can kind of imagine when the red is pushing forward, that's pushing the beater back into position. So at this point, it needs to stop at this point and then start pulling back. But see how it kills the path if I try and change it? This is pretty good. Hey Rosenberg, how you doing? Yeah, we're just kind of catching up on everything. It will be a problem later. It's not a problem right now because I'm just trying to figure out the motion. I'm just trying to get the motion right. So it's not a problem yet. See, I want this to start coming back in at this point. Some looping. What do you use for looping? Things are going good here. We got the siren. The siren is in progress. We got a bunch of prints happening right now. And so while those are printing, I've started working on the pedal again. So it's hitting too early. It needs to hit after. It needs to hit after. Cool. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to go. I'm going to have to use Ableton for a future video because I'm trying to figure out how to do microtonal keyboards, like different different equal temperament scales, so like a 13 equal temperament or a 19 equal temperament. Tried to do it in Logic and it's not working good, so that I might have to do that with Ableton, because I think Ableton's a lot better. But I don't have Max for live, so I'm not too sure if I will be able to do it or not. But I want to build a modular keyboard where each key, you have a black key and a white key, and it's all modular. And so then you have a brain section that plugs into your computer, and then you can assemble your keyboard in whatever orientation you want with black keys and white keys. You could have black keys beside each other, you could have white keys, all white keys, or you can do whatever you want. But having a modular one, so you can set up for whatever scale you want to do, and each little module would just have its own little trigger in it, and they would magnetize together, so you can just assemble it. That's like maybe what I'm gonna do for the video after this pedal video. We'll see. Is there a guy who does it in Logic? Do you know what he's called? Because I would love to figure that out. Okay, that pushes it away. So we don't want to push it away. We want to do the opposite. See, we're very close here. Now, the big issue is I can't realistically get a hinge here because there's a big bearing in the way. And that was the issue last time, too. So this has to move up. Like here. But then now, all of a sudden, all my movements are really tiny. But I guess theoretically I could bump this up out somehow. I mean, I could have the hinge there. It's not the worst. So I could have it halfway. Or we move this in. No, that does everything wrong. It works so much better with this right down here. But this is kind of like what I'm just going to have to play around with until I figure this out, because thank you. Yeah, that would be great. That'd be great to have that info. Levi McLean. Yeah, 31 tones. So that would be a 31 equal temperament scale. So imagine taking your octave and then putting a note, putting 31 notes in between that octave, all equally spaced. And so a 31 note equal temperament scale is probably going to have a lot of the same or similar sort of intervals that you get in a 12 note scale. But obviously it's going to have way more other things. Like if you did a 24 note equal temperament scale, that would have exactly the same as that would just be your same 12 note scale with quarter tones in between each note, which is the most common for microtonal. So getting into these sort of everything other than 12 and 24 note, you end up with really weird stuff, which I want to play around with. So 31 sounds dope. I know 19 is another one that people really like. 17 is a really interesting one. 13 is just a gimmick. It sounds pretty bad. But it's a gimmick because it's obviously just like one note difference from a 12. So like just analyzing this, I'm trying to find a link, just a 4-bar linkage where when this is horizontal, something significant happens between this and this for L1. Something significant happens between this and this. And so obviously that is pretty significant. But then I need the motion to stop continuing, whereas this one, it does continue on downwards. So I need it to switch at this point. So in order to do that, but every time I change this, it changes everything else. And that's why a 4-bar linkage doesn't work. But that does something pretty significant. So let's get our red guy back in here. Because I'm thinking maybe the issue isn't that. I think if we connected this like this, obviously this is going to run. That's not working there yet. this actually kind of works because see how pulls back the red at that point, and then as we move forward, the red pushes really hard, and then it actually starts falling back. Actually, if we wanted to make it for sure, it starts falling back as soon as L1 gets horizontal, and that's what we want. The problem is when we get down here, well, actually that's okay because it doesn't go past vertical really. It does a little bit, but not much. So this technically works. We hit hard, fall back. And this is actually, so I did have a version of this that worked really well on this. The problem was this guy was running into the bearing because on the red guy we have a bearing that's like this big. But in this case it actually seems like we would be okay. Oops. Okay, Levi McLean. I'm just going to pull that up just so I don't forget.
It makes sense to have the default color.
Huh. He literally has a video called "The Strange Reason Why Microtones Don't Work on Piano," and it's I'm gonna watch that. I'm gonna watch that. It's so relevant to both of the videos I'm working on. Thanks for that. Thanks for that tip. So that starts pulling back, and then it doesn't matter what it does. It doesn't matter what it does. It doesn't matter what it does as long as the farthest point is right there. Yes. And then pulls back. So this does work. So why didn't it work on mine? Okay, let's take a look. Let's see where we're at with this. Let's hide the jack, because that is exactly the setup I have here right now. So as soon as this goes up, oh, it crashes. What am I looking at here? Oh yeah, okay, I'm gonna get rid of this link. And this link. That's right, these ones I added. This was my 8-bar linkage that I decided to bail on because I don't want to go 8-bar linkage on this. Right, so the only way this works, I think I need to turn on a sketch here. Oh no, it's not on this, it's on the frame. Sketches. Weird. Okay, I'm just gonna do a new sketch here. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. So that's our line. So now we can see here. When this comes up, this is the point where the jack starts jacking. And we need the red to start pulling back, which it's doing. And it goes up to about this point. So it only pulls back a tiny little bit, but then it pushes forward quite a bit. And then starts falling back at this point. But you can see how much travel. I need it to stop. I need this guy to stop pushing forward at about this point. But you can see it continues to push forward when you're referencing the blue. And so it's not until this point that it stops pushing forward. What that means is the pedal needs to come back this far in order to re-engage the hammer. And that's too far. It is about halfway, which is kind of what a regular piano is, but on a kick drum pedal it's going to be way more noticeable. So that's why I need it to stop at this point. And so what I did do originally was I took this guy, this link, and if we adjust this, the point where it starts switching... What? Okay, I don't know what's going on here. It's gotta be. Okay, I don't understand what's happening. Which body is this? Body 14. Why does it change everything once I do this? Okay, I guess we'll do that. So what I did was I moved this down like there. And so now you can see the hinge is there. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I do believe. I do believe. And that works, but you can see now this part cuts into this bearing. This circle is a no-go zone, and the actual axle of this thing is cutting into the bearing, so it can't work. Otherwise this would work enough. It's not great, but it would work enough that I could move forward. Because you can see it pulls back, pushes forward, and then starts falling back at this point, which is exactly what we want. The stream's popping off. Yeah, we got 3 concurrent viewers. That's awesome. These streams were never supposed to be like a high volume thing. But it's I so much appreciate you guys joining. It's so cool. See how that's supposed to work? That pulls in and then stops pulling in at that point. When you're referencing the blue, if you look at this dot and look at this blue line, so right now this mallet can pull back pretty significantly far. Ideally it would pull back like this far, but this works. I'm happy with this. And then when this comes forward, watch that dot, and you can see it just about touches there before it starts pulling away. Oh no, it just about touches there before it starts pulling away again. And that's what we want. It's exactly the motion we want. But once again, this hinge goes right through that bearing. And it also breaks. So that's the struggle, and that's what we have here. So I think this thing is actually probably inaccurate scale-wise. I think the circle here is honestly probably like this. And so you can see the path of this goes right through the bearing. So with that in mind, what can we do? And so I did have a version with an 8. I did have a version with an 8 links that I think it did something. No, it didn't do any of this. Don't remember. But either way, I just need to do something else. I need to do something else. Like internally, I feel like there's a really elegant way to do this. And that's why I keep torturing myself with this whole thing. Does seem like this needs to kind of sit in front. But see, even this starts contacting the bearing. Okay, it's interesting that it doesn't when that's closer. That's not what I would have assumed. Keys, locks, and bicycle brakes. I wonder if that will spark anything. Keys, locks, and bicycle brakes. Well, what's funny is, I don't know if you've heard of a channel called Stuff Made Here. It's my favorite YouTube channel, and my favorite video of his is trying to design an unpickable lock. And to me, this feels like a similar challenge, because it's like locks have been around for hundreds of years, haven't really changed too much. And the idea of making one that's actually unpickable is more of a logic problem than just like a straight up engineering problem. And those are my favorite types of problems. Those are my favorite types of problems. So it's kind of cool. Kind of cool that you bring that up. I'm curious what your thinking is, how it relates to this, though. Because that's what I'm struggling with. I could theoretically put a link here. And like this works well. Not in this config. Well, kind of in this configuration. It's just this goes. Why does that crash? Well, the issue is that you need something to stop moving at a certain place, so I'm thinking about things that intentionally cause a stop in motion. Yeah, when it's in terms of linkages, it's called a dwell. And there's a lot of mechanisms that do a dwell. What makes this so hard to sort of digest is the fact that we're dealing with a rotating body where the part, like the actual dwell, isn't happening. It's not dwelling in space. It's dwelling in relationship to this whole cam rotating. That's the part that, so like I need the dwell to happen in relationship to this L1 bar here. And that's where my struggle is. And there's like so much chaos in linkages. It's what makes them so cool and makes them so complicated and hard to design. Because like literally moving something a millimeter can, you see like the difference between this and this? Everything breaks. And when you have 8 linkages, or 6 linkages even, it's that subtle little difference. And I'm trying to find a motion where it's reliable enough that I can put this in my own design and then be able to tune it once it's in. But I've been struggling to find that. I feel like this is where things have to start. It has to start with this 4-bar linkage here. You know, this is a bar technically. This is L2, L1, L3, and L4. So this is a 4-bar linkage. This kind of has to start things off, I feel like. But maybe it doesn't. Maybe there's another thing I could start off with. This does work really well, though, because you've got this like definite sort of feature happening here, and that pulls everything back. And then that's pushing everything forward. But the problem is that L4, that tip of the L4 that curves out like that, once we get to this point, it continues to pull in. And I need it to basically pull in and then start pushing out right at this point. So it makes me think I need to start with... So theoretically, if I were to go like this, add a link here, put it underneath, and then link these two. This is just crazy. This is so chaotic. And I could do this with a cam. I could do this other ways. But the idea of doing it with a linkage is so romantic to me that I just like... That's like a personal thing. I need to figure it out. Like, look at this. Look at the difference here. And I can tell you why this changes so dramatically. Because we're looking at the intersection between these three hinges. And so things happen at that point once it passes that point. And so if we made it big, you can see it a little bit easier. But I need it so that exactly. I just think the playability of it is going to be so much better, the elegance of it, and then also just like literally just the way it looks, which is really significantly important. Now, what I don't love is like, look at this sharp path here versus this smoother path. I want this sharp path up here. And so you'd think, okay, you could just drag this down to the opposite. But the problem is now L1 is going up in this direction, which we don't want. We need L1 to travel down. L1's got to travel in this quadrant. This amount of like just over 90 degrees. And the only place that works with this main linkage is when it's up here. And then that gives us this super sharp spike here, which is like exactly what I want, right? Bop. Bop. So how do we get that happening at this point? Bop. Bop. I mean, it kind of does something else which works. But like, it's nothing like this. This is a crazy amount of spike that's happening there in such a short motion. It's because they're crossed. Okay, so maybe if I cross them... How do I cross them? So it makes me think, like, what if we actually did something like this? Ugh, annoying. Now this can rotate all the way around. So making note of the fact that that would be... That pushes it into the skin, so that can't work. If it's doing it down there, why not just move the linkage so it does it up there instead? That's my theory is it should be possible, but I have yet to figure out how to do that. And actually, what I think is happening is there's... Oh, you know what? We might be able to do something with this, because this is actually quite... Something happens here. These kind of stay separated, and then they get close at that point. Let's just experiment with this a bit. Yeah, and that is okay. So let's go through that, because this is, and maybe you can spot something that I'm not spotting. So we have this, right? We want this spike to happen here. Just like it should be doable, right? The problem is right now the path is going like this. So by just rotating this whole thing, we can get this spike to happen here, but now the path is up here. So theoretically, we could mirror this, but when I've tried to mirror it... Oh, shoot. When I've tried to mirror it, so like, I guess the mirror would be this and this. The spike happens there. Okay, but now can we rotate this 90 degrees? Okay, this is interesting. So just rotate the assembly 90 degrees. Yeah, but I guess I could move L1 to start in a downwards position. Right? We could start L1 down here. Move this up here. Move this... Because theoretically, right now I have L1 sticking out this way, but if I could just rotate L1 so it starts downwards instead of starting, like instead of referencing it at horizontal, it could start downwards. Might be onto something with this. You might be onto something with this. Now, why can't I get that flick happening? Does this have to be... No. This has to be here. Why isn't that flick happening? It kinda is. kind of is. See, just... Oh, wait. I've messed up. Oh. Okay. So to do... L1 needs to start back here and end up here. So if L1 starts back here, then this one starts over here. And then we have our little triangle piece over here. Okay, this is getting a bit crazy, but we might be on to something here. We might be on to something here. That's the spike we're looking for. Ah, but then it happens down here. Didn't we just have it doing that, though? Where was it? Yeah, here. Okay, so if we rotate this whole thing 90 degrees, let's try that. Okay, why isn't it letting me do that? Because I want that little spike, right? So let's rotate this. Okay, let's rotate it 90 degrees. Oops. Oh. Hold on. Prusa failed. Luckily, it was only 5%. 5% done. But Prusa failed. Okay, interesting. So weird, and it's actually not that different. Yes. How do we do this? This is what we wanted. How did this happen? So flicks out, comes past. Okay, now we're just slightly under rotating. We need this to come back further. So if I lift this, yeah. Like that, and then move this. Oh my god, it's like literally the tiniest little difference makes everything not work. Boop. Okay, let's see what we can do with this. This is interesting. Good call. Good call on that. I'm just going to connect this and see what happens because I literally don't know. Oh. Oops. Oops. Should probably put my face cam in a different spot, but it never lets me move it while I'm in stream, which I don't understand. Okay, that's doing the opposite of what we need it to do, which means if I put this down here, shoots it out, comes close, and then starts backing off. But now that distance is way too far. Oh, that's okay, actually. The distance is fine. No, it's not. The distance needs to be the most at this. Oh, no. No, no, it was doing the right thing before. It was doing the right thing before. But it's... okay. Yep, pulls it back. Pushes forward. Starts pulling back. Little lull there, which is interesting. Set it up so when your screen is showing it's small, and when you show chat something, you can full screen the face. Yeah, I guess I could just do this. You don't need to see my face, right? That's kind of nice. Okay. Now I can be sneaky. I can sneak treats on stream. This is interesting. I love the lull happening here. It's like that would look so cool. I wonder if you'd feel that. Whips back, launches forward, and then starts coming backwards. So this works. This works. Now the issue here is this bar is well into the bearing area. But I'm thinking I can probably just get away with doing, instead of linking it directly to the red bar, we could potentially do an additional linkage like this. Why doesn't that do anything? Oh, because that's going to be floppy. Okay, so then we just go like that. What is happening here? Oh, that works good. That's the farthest point. Can I have it so it flips outwards instead? That's the farthest point. It flips in. What is stopping this? Because it could... This could be the thing that pushes... This could be the thing that pushes in, right? That pushes the mallet back, rotates out of the way, and it never gets that close again, although it does there. Do we even need this to do any of this, though? No. That does it on its own. Is there a way where this doesn't pass by again? Because it's going to trigger it again once it gets past here, I think, but maybe not. Because at that point, it's hard to say. It's really hard to say. Let's put this back in the direct center here, as close as we can get it. Yeah, so this is the problem now. This is touching there at that specific point, which I love. And we're doing this with the 4-bar linkage, but it's also touching here. So is there a version of this where it doesn't also touch down here? Or is that just the nature of this linkage? But what we can do is maybe keep it away and then use this specific motion to make something that happens only up here that doesn't happen down here. And that's where our 6-bar linkage comes in. So only up here. I wish the path didn't disappear. Okay, so that pulls it in. Oops. Oh, why did my Prusa print fail? That's so dumb. It didn't even fail for any specific reason, as far as I could tell. It just got stuck and skipped a massive step. So I need to figure that out. That's really frustrating. So at that point, It's doing the opposite of what we want, so let's pull it out this way. Okay, I want to get back to how we had it. Yeah, just by the nature of this, it's so close because that's exactly what we want to happen. We want there to be that point that just pushes in and then dips out right at that last little bit. And actually, I really need the travel to not be so much on this top end. And it seems like if I do something like that, yeah. Boom, 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 boom. That's what we want to see. Yeah, so theoretically, if we had this, and then this, and then this, we are going to get pretty good backwards motion on that. But again, this is relying on having a hinge point well inside the bearing. And then also, that pushes at its maximum there, which I like. As we fall back, it stops. Right, like I just don't have a lot of room to put anything in here. This is really interesting to me. This is the closest it's gotten with a 4-bar linkage. That pushes in. That comes out. It does stop here. I need it to travel further. And I really like the actual motion of that triangle. The way it's pushing in like that. And then when it comes down, it's kind of pushing at the exact direction we need it to. Like this is a very, very special moment here that happens on this linkage. It's a special moment. So how can we capitalize on that special little moment? And I would like to do it with a link here. What time is it right now? 5? Okay. I just need to see what is actually happening again. So that shoots out. It's not until this point that it shoots out again, but in a different way, which is fine. This one's really specific, where these all interlock, and then it shoots out hard. What happens if this is up here? Once again, like the motion down here is significantly better than the motion up here. Why? Just really like how special this is. This feels special. Boom. What are you thinking out of the box? Dun, 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 dun. I'm all for out of the box ideas. Had that same triangle shaped L4 this whole time. What if we change the shape or move the connections on L4? Okay, I like it. That's kind of why I was thinking about doing like something like this. But obviously that's going to shoot L3 out into the skin. Oops. God, this program's kind of annoying. Move the physical connection. Move them from the corners. What do you mean exactly? You've had the connections on L4 in the corners of the triangle. What if you had the connection more centered? Well, it doesn't really matter where the connections are, right? Because this, like if you take L4 and you put a node, and you can put a bunch of nodes, it doesn't matter where any of these are. All that matters is this distance right here. So naturally, like, you know, this, it's not in a corner, but this is the distance that actually matters. So effectively, you have a triangle that's, or effectively all this shape is that. The shape of the actual thing doesn't do anything. All that matters is the distance between the points. But I like the idea of changing the idea of L4 entirely. Because what if, or here's another thought I had. What if we had another node on L1 that was like back here, and this did something? So we could, you know, connect. Well, we can't connect these two. Oops. We could do that. And then Okay, this goes around in a full circle, which I like. It's not going to break then. But what's actually happening here? Let's move this up. See, like this is now we're actually working with something totally new. Let's bring this up so that now we're actually working with something completely new. What I like about this is it does cause a dwell to happen here. So L3 is basically stationary at this point, and then L3 doesn't move until we start getting into this point. So can we use that? I think if we threw a node on L3 and we did a 4-bar linkage between here, okay, that, oops, god damn. That's effectively the same thing that we've been doing. That's not going to matter. That's not going to matter. So that's not working for us. I just really feel like this guy needs to be involved somehow, and I don't know how yet. Okay, interesting. goes there. Frustrating. That's what happened there. Nothing. Nothing happens there. It's the opposite of what I need. I need everything to happen at that point. This is kind of close. Boom. That's good action. That's what we want. And then why does it stop? We need to start coming back at that point. But it's, so that only happens... Nice. Wrong. There's like an infinite number of possibilities. This is interesting because it dwells there, which is the wrong spot we want it to dwell at. We need it to kind of dwell there. Hi, Dusty. What's going on? Yeah, I think we'll probably wrap up pretty soon here. Huh? No, less. This is interesting. Doing this sort of like back node. Is an interesting option. This looks pretty cool. I really like how little happens in the middle of this. I just don't know what's exactly happening yet. Okay, so let's say this starts moving downwards. When that moves downwards, let me get rid of this. Let me get rid of this. At this point, we can go like this. Dusty, what are you doing, little guy? You can't be on here. Cat's on the table. You're gonna step on my keyboard. You're gonna. Hi, sweet baby. See, that would have been a perfect having the camera on moment. So if I want something significant to happen at that point, I go like this. So now, these travel together. But then at this point, oh no, these travel together. Awesome, Ruby. Good to see you. Have a good night, and I will probably be back on Monday. And hopefully I'll have the siren all built by Monday. And we can just play around with that. And I'll see how far I get on this as well. Take it easy. Have a good night. I'm going to wrap up here too. Where are those from? The tree? Which tree? Oh my god. All right, I'm wrapping this up.